Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the FSL MLBB tournament, and this is the Myanmar tournament itself. My name is Aries, and once again, it's gonna be the second BO3 of the day, or rather of the night, depending on where you are watching. For me, it's in the night, and obviously for the COVID-19 situation, I'm practicing my due diligence to be casting from home. And big shout out to all the tournament organizers as well as the admins who are working really hard to bring you this tournament. Obviously, a big shout out to our sponsors as well as our partners, Dreamcall, Super Solid, as well as Yahoo. And not to forget, if you want to catch more news on the FSL, you can check out the circuit news update on our Facebook as well as Instagram and all our social medias, which will be in the link. But for now, looks like we've got our second match. The draft is already underway. In fact, it's already second half. Oh wow, look at how quickly it went by. We've got Impunity Pixies against Impunity Divas. So both teams from the Impunity clan, or rather the team. And then we've got Valor, Diggy, as well as Carry already banned out. Esmeralda, you've got Grog, as well as Atlas banned out. You've got Claude. Your team is picking. Pretty standard pick, I would say. Qualifiers as well as the okay, I think the Xbox is a pretty decent pick. They ban out Divas, actually ban out the Esmeralda because they don't want a counter against the Uranus. Obviously, when Uranus uses his skills, he gets the shield, and then, you know, Esmeralda is just gonna eat that all away for herself. So that is why you see Divas actually ban Esmeralda. Really smart ban, and maybe it could be a target ban as well. You know, both teams from Puny, I'm sure they scream against one another. They would know what heroes work against. What heroes both teams like to pick, and obviously which teams they want to ban out. But that's for now. We've got the final pick, which is going to be a Roger. I think Roger is one of those heroes that is really underrated, and we do see the occurrence of Roger coming up, especially in MPLs, because of how fast-paced it is, you know, how quickly he comes online. And, you know, he's one of those heroes where you leave him alone for 5 minutes, and the next thing you know, when he comes up, he's gonna hurt so much, especially once he completes that Berserker Fury. But this is the draft for now. Xbox, Kufa, Angela, Claude, and Leomord on the side of Impunity. Pixies, whereas the Divas will pick up Selena, Arkai, Uranus, Jawhead, and Roger.
Welcome to Mobile Legends! 5 seconds till the enemy reaches the battlefield. Smash them! All troops deployed!
So it looks like right now both teams are going to be playing the Hyper Carry comp. Jawhead going to be in the top lane up against the Xbox. Kufa already in the jungle to make sure that no one's taking the buff. But unfortunately, he will not be able to contest for the raid because Loki is there to stop him. Meanwhile, I got Nora down in the bot lane by herself, going up against the Uranus, who I'm sure is gonna abuse, you know, how tanky the kid that Uranus can be. So Inori is just probably gonna split push over and over again. This time round, just gonna make sure he pushes the wave up, and I think as long as the Leomord can maintain this wave, or rather make sure that the lanes don't really damage too much on the tower, she should be doing fine. Meanwhile, Loki just gonna casually toss the Xbox up. These two players obviously trying to harass as much as possible. Meanwhile, mid lane you got Chico as well as Cuckoo gonna be clearing up the waves in the middle of the map. No team fight as of now, and Roger definitely does need that level 4. And he will get it. Actually go for the execute as well to burst damage. Oh, a flicker coming up from the Archive just to make sure he stays alive. Meanwhile, Chico coming in the backline does want to catch a little bit, but too far and out of range. And looks like we've got Kufa managed to go to the backline, managed to pick up the Archive, who hasn't hit level 4 yet. It's so vital that Archive hits the level 4 so that she can have, you know, her Hurricane Dance to put, you know, the Impunity Pixies out of position. Last Insanity comes up. That's going to allow them to blow the Roach up instantly. Blazing Duet will come up just to secure that kill. And obviously that's going to be a good thing for the Pixies, who want to get as much farm onto the Claude as soon as possible. Already a little bit ahead as compared to the Raw, just a very slight 300 goal lead, but you know, it is a goal lead nonetheless. But Uranus now doing a good job at pressuring that bot lane against this Leomon, and I would have loved to see him, or rather see her, push this one more wave before going back, because Leomon, you know the Leomon's gonna go back. He's been missing in the lane for so long. You know, he allowed you to cut the wave, so maybe clear that wave up, you know, TP back to base and then come back so that you can kind of meet him halfway there. But that's fine. Both members on the bot lane will just clear up their waves as usual. Loki is going to pick up the sprint boots on the jaw hit just to allow him to traverse a little bit quicker across the map. Meanwhile, we might see a team fight breakout probably around here. I mean, Mama's already level 4. So she does have the Hurricane Dance, and look at that, the slow coming up from Angela just to bind her. But looks like you've got the Hurricane Dance being burnt just to keep herself alive. So no Hurricane Dance and no flicker from the Archive. That is going to be a big CC missing out. They will secure it. Going onto the turtle, and this time around you got Archive jumping right into the middle thing, but Claude is still healthy. And in fact, Claude will walk away with another kill onto the Archive. The burst damage comes from the jaw hit, especially with those lock-on missiles. To pick up the X-Bolt there, 1-for-1. But that being said, you got Impunity, Pixies picking up the turtle, so it is still a decent win after all.
Initiate retreat.
Gonna put the pressure on the top side, and looks like you got Divas trying to step the pressure up right now. Roger already starting to build into his first big item. Selena trying to harass that flame shot, nearly picking up good. Good trade for the Divas, who managed to pick up the tier 2 onto the top lane. While the Pixies are still knocking onto the bottom lane. Selena really rotating to the bot. Archive with Flicker still on cooldown, but he does have the Hurricane Dance, so if you can use the Leapfrog, you can definitely catch him up. They did manage to steal the blue buff. And looks like you got Pixies who's trying to do the same and mirror their opponent's movements. But now you got Blazing Duet coming in the backline. Roger already taking the Leomon out. The flame shot comes up, and looks like you got Kufa, who should fall right here. Shouldn't get out by a chance. They're trying to punish this push coming in, but Claude gets stunned up by the Abyssal Arrow. And that's going to be another kill onto the Claude. They trade both the MMs, or rather only one MM, but they do trade the Uranus for that. Good trade, I would say. And Divas are starting to claw this one back. Now that goal lead that Pixies had is now neutralized, and now they want to go on to good. They managed to land the Hurricane Dance into him, but more importantly they do secure the turtle. Endless battle already up, about to be up onto the Roger, which should be the first major item that he's looking to complete. You got Angela already completing her fleeting time. Meanwhile, you got Claude just hyper farming the heck out of the map right now. You got Demon Hunter Swap, probably will go into the golden stuff ASAP. He managed to isolate in away from the rest of the team. Archive really far away. Not too sure what that Hurricane Dance was all about, but once again,
Launch attack.
that means that they can't really contest, but both the flicker of the Archive as well as the Hurricane Dance will come off cooldown at the same time. Oh, good jump coming off the Kufa, inging onto the backline Xbox to follow up with the last Insanity, but all the flickers burn, especially from Loki, and the rest of the team will get out of range. Meanwhile, Pixies trying to force the issue right now. They jump onto Mama. Once again, use the Hurricane Dance defensively. Abyssal Arrow not being able to land onto the Claude. Roger jumping in. Has to be careful about his position. Doesn't really have flicker, so he did pick up Execute, so I'm sure he's trying to go for that one shot onto the Claude. But Ruri keeping her distance away from the fight. Only looking for the right time to go with the Blazing Duet, which is the main bulk of the damage coming out. That's it. There it is, the Blazing Duet coming up from the front. They did manage to pick up the jaw hit. And not only that, Xbox already pushing up onto the top side. A little bit of overextension coming up from Divas. And although they did manage to pick up the tier 1 on the middle lane, they're probably going to lose the turtle right here. And they will also lose the top tier, or the tier 2 tower on the top lane. Meanwhile, they do manage to get one back onto the jaw hit. They do lose the Angela. Inging now, dropping really low. Chico, skills on cooldown, has to make a run for it. Good with last Insanity, trying to stick onto the Roger. Will blow him up instantly, but now Kufa back into the fight with the Berserkers. Rather than Berserker, but the Tyrants. Revenge, and Mama once again for the up-5 times will use the Hurricane Dance to keep herself alive. Loki now looking to try to get a kill onto Good, but Nora is there to push the jaw hit away. So after all that, pretty even fight, I would say. Still a good push coming up from Impunity Pixies, because they did manage to get a tier 2 on the top lane. They got the turtle over there, and more importantly, they did manage to get the Roger. Good positioning coming out from Good, who used the last Insanity as well as the flicker combo to actually pick him up. So you can see that the side of Pixies actually have 4 members with flicker. Same goes for the Angela, just to try to keep the puppet on the string in range. She's trying to keep the Archive away, try to get the Archive to burn that Hurricane Dance, and she's been doing a absolutely good job at doing so. We have not seen an aggressive Hurricane Dance coming up from Mama, which is, I would say hindering the team fight of the Divas, because they're relying on it to put the members in position. And for the first time, well, speak of the devil there, good Hurricane Dance to pin them down, but trouble on the other side of the map, because the Pixies are already looking to take the tier 3. They need to get that creep down, and the creep is still kept alive. Meanwhile, Inori, the implosion coming in, they will burn the immortality away from the Kufa, but they still fail to get the tier 2 despite all of that on the top side. Which means Pixies do not lose a single thing in that push.
Initiate retreat.
Next big fight gonna be happening right around the Lord's Pit right now, and it's gonna start by both teams clearing out their buffs. Cuckoo's gonna set up a couple of traps for Visions. So Pause is gonna come right around. Leomord already completing. That endless pattern. That's gonna help with not only Kuna, like I said, he's probably gonna build. He's already built the Blood Axe, so that's good as well. Same goes for the Xbox, which I'm sure the Xbox is gonna start building into defense, right? He doesn't really need much. In fact, what he needs at this point in time is actually the Athena shield to cope with the damage output coming off the Uranus, as well as the Selena, because those two are the heroes that's constantly gonna be trying to stay in front of Roger. Try to get Roger skills on cooldown whenever Roger goes in with the Hunter Step as well as the Open Fire. I would say he's trying to keep his Wolf transformation, or rather he's trying to keep in the Wolf form at all times, right? Because he wants the loud compounds to go for the burst damage. This is why you want a huge team fight right there. Claude once again, first one to go into the fight. They managed to get Loki out. We missed the first fight, but here we go. And now we've got once again Last Insanity onto the backline. Archive will walk away alive. Krufa coming in and jumping onto the Roger. And the Blazing Duet once again coming out on cooldown. Angela's gonna be on him, so he will be able to jump onto the backline. Rui, good fight right there. Once again, kept alive by the team, and then more importantly, they get Chico down, which means the Roger is not able to join the fight for the next 29 seconds. That's gonna be an uncontested Lord for the side of Pixies. A really good fight right there. Abyssal Arrow landing onto Claude, but no follow-up action from the rest. Good job by the Krufa to stop the Hurricane Duns coming up from Mama. Inori coming in the implosion, but not enough damage to take down anyone on the side of Pixies. RR coming in with the Tyrant's Madness. Blazing Duet once again. Uranus dropping really low. One more hit. But they will just secure that tier 2 tower in the mid lane and take away the blue buff. And at this point of time, it has been a ping pong match coming up between two teams, right? You got a back and forth coming up, but finally with a good team fight near the Lord Speed, Impunity Pixies find themselves way ahead in terms of goal. Same goes for EXP. Joy hit now coming in with the toss. Obviously, he wants to get the ejector onto the Claude. And here we go, he tosses the Roger out of position, but that's not where they want to be. Inori now coming into the back line. You've got Xbox standing right in front, looking for the good ultimate right there. And here we go, coming in, Blazing Duet coming on the back line. Choco merely going down. Roger not being able to take part in the fight, and that's the bulk of damage missing for the side of Divas. And I'm pretty sure it's gonna be GG here. Congratulations to the side of Impunity Pixies. They had a decisive team fight right there. Xbox dealing all the pure damage with those flames before going in for the Last Insanity, and obviously too much damage from Claude's Blazing Duet to finish the game off. So like I said, very straightforward match coming out from the side of Impunity Pixies. They did really well. I would say they for the most part they did the right thing. They were constantly trying to isolate the Roger away from the team fight, and I think the impressive thing about Impunity Pixies is how well they were doing when it came to burning that Hurricane Dance, right? You got Angela that's trying to keep the string puppet on the string rather, on the Archive at all times, trying to stun the Archive, make sure that he's not in good position, and because of that, you know, Archive isn't able to jump the backline, even though he has a lip, even though he has a flicker. He's constantly using those defensively even before the fight begins, and that may come down to the bad position of Mama. If she had better, I would say, positioning, she could have tried to isolate Rui, but you know, all in all, a good team fight coming from both sides, but it is Pixies with more burst damage on the Xbox as well as the Claude to break them through. With that being said, we'll go for a short break. Remember, this is going to be a best of 3, so one more game for Divas to try to buy themselves back, and obviously one more for Pixies to try to they're already 1 foot into the semi-finals, and they need that one more game to secure that spot. With that being said, let's go for a short 5 minutes break, you know, let the teams reset and re-strategize for game number 2 between Impunity Pixies and Impunity Divas. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to what potentially could be our last match of the day. It's the match between Impunity Pixies against Impunity Divas. Remember, you are watching the Myanmar tournament of the FSL MLBB. This is just one-off, so there it's just to prep the players because the circuit itself has been delayed because of the COVID-19 situation. So hopefully, you know, everything can be solved, and you know, if the virus is I would say dealt with properly, then we can try to get the circuit as fast as possible. If you want more news, you can head on down to FSL on Facebook or even on our Instagram to find out more. But without further ado, let's just go straight into the draft. I've got news that the teams are already ready. So there we go. Come on your screen right now, 2 teams, and remember, Pixies won the first game. thanks to their Claude, and this time round it looks like we're gonna be seeing a little bit of a mirror. Pixies giving away the Claude to Divas and instead choosing to ban both the Atlas as well as the Grok. I'm pretty surprised there. No, I mean the Pixies themselves, they should know how strong the Claude is. I think they did not switch sides. Yeah. So okay, I'm just gonna change things up for a bit. Okay, so I'm just gonna confirm for a while. I believe the score should be 1-1.
Your team is banning.
So I'm not sure what's going on. Waiting for production to get back to me. So I'm actually waiting for the production to get back to me, just to double check. So we're just gonna wait for a while. We'll wait for production to let me know if the match is going on. Okay, so we just got an update. The score is actually 1-1. So I'm not sure what's happening, but it's okay. The score is now 1-1. We've got Divas as well as Pixies. And I think the teams are actually on the opposite side. So I'm just gonna fix that. So those are actually the sides. So it looks like Pixies was actually on the blue side and then Divas was on the red. So it looks like they swap back now. You know, Pixies and Divas obviously 1-1. So I don't think there should be a problem. So we are looking at a very, very similar draft to what we saw coming into game 1. Remember, this is the last match of the day. They are trying to book themselves a slot into the semi-finals. So we kind of missed out on game 2, but it's fine. At least we get to watch and witness the last match between these two teams, which I'm really happy. It's the first BO3 or the first game that we saw coming from the previous match. We're excited to see what the results are. The Ash Murder has been picked up to kind of deal with. I think they were prepping for the Uranus, but the Uranus was already banned out. But nevertheless, they will pick up the Ash Murder. So the Ash Murder previously was actually a target ban. I'm gonna just put it that way, which is understandable. You know, Esmeralda now is a very strong hero. She scales really well. You know, she's a really good fighter if you think about it. But you couple that with, you know, if you couple that against what I think could be a jaw hit, then it's even more troubles for the side of Divas to handle. But they do pick up the Nana, which is nice. You know, I spoke about Molina's gift as well as her passive, and the Molina Blitz, which is always a really huge amount of damage if you do not avoid it in team fights.
Welcome to Mobile Legends! 5 seconds till the enemy reaches the battlefield. Smash them! All troops deployed!
Alright, so there we have it. You know, all the confusion has been cleared. It's Pixies who's on the blue and the Divas on the red. So second game was played off stream. I think they had a little bit of a issue with the streaming wise, but don't worry, we are now back live. So this game is gonna decide who will get the second slot into the semi-finals. and obviously the winner of this match is gonna face up either against Burmese Angels or Yangon Galacticos, depending on who wins their respective matchup. And once again, a very similar drop to what we saw coming into game 1. You know, Pixies getting that Claude, and they go for the Xbox on the top side. But this time around, they are picking up the Esmeralda in the bot lane. So I like this a lot. Like, I think it's a really good draft. I think, you know, the Esmeralda will do really well, especially if you think about the fact that DG's ultimate does give the team a slight shield. The Esmeralda is just gonna eat all that shield up, and they're just gonna die even quicker. So it's something that, you know, if Divas are not too careful of, Impunity Divas are not careful with the positioning, and they do not look for the Esmeralda to try to come into the fight at, you know, in the middle of the entire team, then it could be a very, very bad team fight for them to actually take right there. But no Angela this time around, which I think it's fine. You know, they have the high loss. He's really tanky. He has the glorious pathway. But like I said, it's not that. I would say it's not that the side of Divas, they definitely have a big chance. They have the Bruno, which is still a very strong carry. This time around, they still managed to cap the Jawhead. They still have the Kufra as well as the Digi, all really strong heroes. But it really comes down to how can they gel together. We've seen them able to take team fights, especially when they had the Roger in the previous game. But that being said, when it came down to the final fight, they were just not able to handle both the Claude and the Xbox Ultimate coming up at the same time, because there's just too much burst damage, and that kind of divided the team into two when they're trying to avoid all the skills. So I'm really excited to see how they're going to do with that, especially with, you know, Falling Star Moon, another threat coming from the Esmeralda, given that they have her instead of another offlaner. So now both teams are pretty equal, which is, like I said, pretty similar to what we saw in game 1, but this time around Pixies are rotating a little bit slower as compared to their fellow team, or the clansmate. It looks like the Divas were able to secure the bottom tower. Claude now gonna be doing the same thing on top side. Meanwhile, bottom lane already pushing in, and there's nothing that this Esmeralda can do. So you can see that Divas are trying to make use of this early game pressure with both the Nana as well as the Digi to actually split push the lanes. They're trying to force their way all the way in the bottom side, and there's nothing that Esmeralda can do, because the moment the Esmeralda goes in, she's just gonna get boosted up by these three heroes who have that, you know, early game damage. And now you got Loki going into the lock on, goes up for the toss as well. Mama comes in with the Tyrant's Fury, and nothing they can do, but Blazing Duet will claim the life of Jawhead. Got isolated away from the Kufra. Meanwhile, we already see Impunity Divas switching themselves into the middle of the lane, trying to get that tier 1 down the middle of the map. Ling Ying is going to come down just to make sure they can push them back. And finally, Esmeralda will get the breathing space that she needs to push the bottom wave out. So next major team fight is going to be happening right around the Turtle Pit. It looks like it is Divas who are looking to contest this. Well, Ying Ying start by stunning up against the Digi. The Blazing Duet will come on the back line. They're trying to reach the Bruno, but she's staying out of range. But the last insanity will come true. Blows the Digi right up. Ruby still out of range. They're trying to get the Bruno. Gets out just in time. But now they're looking to try to buy the Xbox out. One more hit from the Nana. Should be able to claim that job. And that's a good engagement, or rather a counter engagement coming from the Divas, who, despite losing out on the Turtle, did manage to get a couple of kills onto Pixies. That being said, they nearly lost Chico, rather that's how it's pronounced, the Bruno, and that could have been a really bad fight. And now Mama and Cuckoo, they want to contest for the red buff. I don't think the Nana can get out, even though she has Molina's gift. That's gonna get another team kill. Digi's trying to get the middle turret, we're able to do so. Glorious pathway to secure that kill, and they're not able to get him out. Bruno positioning, does manage to get back just in time with this tackle. And they only lose 2 supports, but this will buy the space needed for the side of Impunity Pixies to actually push down the middle lane. Once again, another pause coming up from the side of Impunity Divas. I think the pace has been quite slow. They haven't been able to try to push the lane as fast as they want to. Yes, they did manage to get that tier 2 tower in the bottom side, and yes, they did manage to force a tier 1, but in the process of doing so, they actually allowed the Claw to farm up on the top side. They didn't really hinder the process of they really managed to get a lot of kills on the map as well. You can see it's 5-1. They lost the turtle. There's a 2k goal lead on the side of Impunity. I would say Impunity Pixies, and I think it's really down to Claude. I think Claude is just too valuable of a hero to actually give away. You can see that when Pixies have the Claude, they farm a lot quicker, they rotate a lot faster, and when it comes down to team fights, they can blow one member up really quickly, and they also have the alternate threat of the last insanity coming with the export, which means now instead of just worrying of a hyper carry in the Claude, they also have to care about the positioning, because that flicker from the export can put them in a really bad team fight at any single point in the engagement. So I think it really comes down to how are they going to make use of Nana's second skill. If they can get the stun off and blow that person up, that's a good engagement for them. However, that being said, it's tough for them, because if Kufa goes in, then it's really down to Joy to protect. So those two, I would say, side laners have to constantly protect the Bruno. Yes, you have a D, you have a Nana, but they're not tanky enough. They're not like a Camille, they're not an Asmurder, they're not Hylos, and it's just the entire lineup of Pixies heroes who have so much sustain and health that they are able to just stand in front and tank. On the contrary, Digi and Nana, they are not as tanky. So they're going to count a lot on the Kufa to actually soak up the damage. Kufa now jumping in the back line, and he's trying to delay the Claw, but Claw can just jump right in front. Glorious Pathway being laid down. They will trade both sides of the tanks, but now Blazing Duet onto the back line. Digi with the shoe, but I mentioned about the threat of the Esmeralda, who's standing right in the middle of them. Loki's dropping really low, and the twirling dance is going to take him down. The falling star moon will secure that kill. I don't think Inori can walk out of this. It's going to be a double kill for the Esmeralda, and if Cuckoo, she's pushing a little bit aggressively. Yes, the Esmeralda and the Camille is really low, but if Esmeralda turns the fight with her ultimate, she can actually take the Nana away in a blink of an eye. Now Claude going to be given that blue buff by Nora, which is going to attribute even more farm for the team. And items wise, that Claude is looking to be really scary. I mean, Jungle Sword already done. He's got the cooldown boots just to try to get that Blazing Duet as fast as possible. Try to get to clear those waves. And then he's already got that Demon Hunter Sword. So even tanky heroes like the Jawhead as well as the Hylos are not able to soak as much damage as they want. And on top of that, Digi's shield is getting taken out. It is going to go straight down, not even able to pull the ultimate right there. But now Esmeralda going in for the re-engagement, and the shield comes out. But once again, the double threat. This is just a one-sided draft as of now. But that being said, they still take down the Esmeralda despite losing the Digi. On the opposite end, you have Gugu just split pushing this wave, and they're just trading like for like. So I think that was still a decent engagement coming from Divas. They did manage to claw back a bit of goal lead. They do lose the second tier tower, but that is still space bought for the side of Divas. And Bruno's really about to complete the endless battle. If you compare that to the Claude, he's like 2k ahead, which is a little bit worrying. The Pixies are indeed doing a good job at managing this lead. Turtle getting stolen away by the Bruno. That is a huge steal, and now they want to walk out alive. That's gonna be the Digi's shield coming up. Blazing Duet onto the backline. Cuckoo getting pushed back, and Charles gonna kick her back with the ball. I think that's the only casualty. So only Inori goes down. Blazing Duet not enough this time round, And you can see the whole tide of the battle really goes in Pixies' favor when the S-Murder is not there, mainly because of the Digi shield, right? When the Digi is trying to use his ultimate, he's basically trying to give the shield as well as the movement speed to the team, but that then that plays into the hands of the Esmeralda, who's gonna eat up all their shield and just to make her tankier in the team fight. Now coming in the middle, Ying gonna be using the Glorious Pathway to try to initiate a bit of aggression, but no follow-up right there. Ruri is just gonna farm up the middle lane. Meanwhile, Esmeralda did manage to split push the bottom end, so that's gonna be tier 2 down for the side of Pixies. Like I said, Pixies doing an absolute good job at managing this team. And now you got Divas trying to make a slight push onto the top side. However, Xbox will be there to contain the fight, and I think this is really good for the side of Pixies. They're just dragging the side of Divas up and down the lanes. You know, that gives more farm to the Esmeralda and the Xbox because they're solo farming. The Mars will not hinder their progress. Meanwhile, you got 5 members on the side of Divas just clamping up together. You know, the jaw hit and the Kufa can't really get the EXP. It's all given to Bruno. Yes, it's good, but Bruno is just so far behind, and the rest of the team are not benefiting from this hyper carrying because the Bruno just doesn't have enough damage in team fights as of yet. Now Ying trying to come up right in front once again, soaking up a lot of damage. Blazing Duet, and looks like Ruby will take whatever she can get. Jumps right onto the back, tries to burn Mama down, and Last Insanity onto the back line will blow the Digi up. Just one more hit, but the team fight on the back, which means Chico is left abandoned, and that's gonna allow Impunity Pixies to take the Lord uncontested. I'm pretty sure they will go for the Lord, and Camille just gonna go back to lane to push the wave back. Meanwhile, Hylos gonna check those brush to make sure that the Claude and the Esmeralda can take the Lord uncontested. And the crux of the issue for Divas right now is they don't have enough AoE damage. If you look at the way Pixies draft is set up, they have so much AoE damage. You got the Esmeralda with the Falling Star Moon, you have, you know, Claude's Blazing Duet, you have Xbox Last Insanity, even Hylos and his second skill, you know, you got the Aura, it's still an AoE damage, so they have a lot of team fight potential as compared to what they can put out. And they got the Ring of Punishment, that's the skill name that I was thinking of from the Hylos, and that's just so much AoE damage on the side of Pixies as compared to Divas, who have the jaw hits, a single damage hero. You got the Bruno, which is also single damage. Yes, you have the ultimate, but you know, if Pixies position themselves with a little bit of distance in between them, then the ball is not gonna bounce. There's no damage there. They have Digi and Nana, but you know, if someone just takes the damage from the auto alarm bomb, that's also a single tower damage. Loki once again going down on the bottom lane, a single kill coming from the Xbox. I'm pretty sure he used the ultimate there, that's why it's a cooldown. Gonna pressure down to the mid lane. Meanwhile, Ying gonna be soaking up the Molinas, give Mama taking a lot of damage as well. Blazing Duet once again onto the back line, toppled up by the Esmeralda's Falling Star Moon, and Mama dropping down to half HP. They've already lacked the Digi, which means no ultimate right there. Now good, gonna do a little bit of damage while backpedaling, and that's gonna be the super minions on bot lane. You can see they're struggling to even take down the super minion, which kind of emphasized the point of why the Lord is so important. Not only the Lord, but the super minion waves. 2 waves in fact. Yeah, pretty tanky build on the Camille, so she's kind of building into the Curse Helm, you know, the Immortality, and then she's probably going to build into a Tina Shield, if I'm not wrong. Either that, or she can even, she can pretty much go for anything at this point, right? Because she's tanky enough, she's got sustain, you know, and whatever shield that the side of Divas put up is going to be eaten up by the Esmeralda. She's just gonna make sure that she sticks on top of the Claude to stun anyone that tries to get onto their marksman. And he's also picked up Ruby also did manage to pick up the Wind of Nature, which means the damage output from the jaw hit of the Bruno is not gonna affect him for at least, you know, that 2 seconds. Looks like we're gonna see the Digi finally build up the NOD for the Esmeralda, which should have been coming a long time, but finally they do have that online. Is it a little bit too little, too late? We have to see, because man, what a goal lead the Pixies have over their clansmate right now. 9k to be exact, or rather 11k to be exact. You can see this game has been one-sided so far. The only lead the Divas had in the game was because they kind of forced the push down in the bot lane, and so that gave them a little bit of a head start. But you know, knowing Claude and how quickly he farms the waves compared to Bruno kind of allows the Pixies to rotate faster. Remember, they also did manage to claim the 2 Lords in the opening stage of the game. Imagine if they did manage to pick up the third turtle. Sorry, the third turtle, yes. The 2 turtles did manage to propel them forward by just a bit in a very aggressive position, just trying to scout out where Divas are. And so far on the map, only the Xbox is showing in lane, which kind of gives a good indication to the Divas that their Pixies are trying to pick up the Lord. And look at how quickly the Nana bows down. They've taken him out, and now Blazing Duet is being set up. Digi over there using his ultimate Last Insanity onto the back line, brings Bruno down to half HP. But look at how far back they were chased, and now it looks like Pixies can proceed, or rather resume, to take up the Lord. And look at how quickly Cuckoo was taken out in that upper brush right here. Boy, she did not even see that coming. Now Feather of Heaven gonna come up onto the Esmeralda. It's gonna help with the basic damage output as it gets skilled with magical, or rather ability AP. Ice Dominance comes out from the Hylos just to slow down the Bruno's attack speed as well as the movement of the entire team. Coming out on the side of Divas, a couple of more major items come on Divas as well. Ice Cream's one onto the Nana, and obviously we've got Bruno already completing that full set. And hopefully they get a good team fight here, because Divas, they badly need to at least take out 3 members inside Pixie to have a chance in this game. But first, they need to take down this Lord, and looks like Good and Miat might have to say something about it. Camille's just standing in front. Nora gonna be sticking himself. Ruby, and they all 4 of them are clumped up together. That gives Esmeralda the time and space to do it. Last Insanity being used on the back line as well, getting pulled back once again. Mama trying to stand right in front of the team, trying to stop the Lord from pushing right in front. But Cuckoo, one by one, they will fall, and looks like all 4 members are still alive. That's gonna be the nail in the coffin for the side of Divas, and it is Pixies that will pick up match 3 and will be your second confirmed semi-finalist, right beside Reborn. So there we have it. Game 3 being completed. Once again, congratulations to Impunity Pixies. Unfortunately for Impunity Divas, they will have to watch and root for their fellow, teammates, or rather clansmates, if you put it that way, or guildmates, whichever it is, because only one team will go through. And if you look at the score right here, I mean, it's a tale of the draft, right? Even before the game began, you knew that Claude was a comfortable hero that Impunity Pixies always pick up. And yes, I think Loki did a really good job at trying to constantly toss a member of Pixies onto the back line so they can burst up, but they were just lacking so much damage. And I think it's not only the lack of damage, but it's I think in hindsight, if you look at the draft coming out from Pixies, they had so much AoE potential. You had Asmar the Falling Star Moon, you had Flood the Blazing Duet, you had Xbox with the Last Insanity, you had Esmeralda's Frost Moon Shield as well as the Stardust Dance, and they just had so much input. Even the Hylos and his Ring of Punishment was just too much damage to deal with. Across the board they had so much damage, and on top of that they also pick up a Camille tank, which I think was really brilliant. Like a Camille tank is something that a lot of people rather a Camilla tank is something that a lot of people did not go for in the start because everyone decided to go for Mage. But looking at how Camilla can become a really good tank because of the Curse of Blood as well as the Blood buff, which is also increases her movement speed, it stuns the enemy, although it's only 0.6, but it's still a stun, and then you also spread out to enemy opponent because of Curse of Blood. So it's just so much AoE damage on life. In fact, every single one of them has AoE damage, and this is the reason why the draft of Pixies was just so strong. And you know, what can I say? They just did an absolute good job in the draft. Already half the battle was won, and the second half was just to make sure that the Cloud could farm up, make sure that the Asmodee could push down the wave, and you know, every single one of the heroes, I think, on the side of Pixies just countered Divas in every imaginable way possible, right? You have the Digi with the shield, but Asmodee is gonna eat that up. You need Jawhead and Krufa to stick on top of the Bruno, but the Curse of Blood coming off the Camille, as well as, you know, Asmodee's AoE damage is just gonna wreak so much trouble if they stick onto the Bruno. And if he separates away from the team, you have the Xbox that's always looking to jump in with the Flicker, and then using the Last Insanity or even Claude with his Blazing Duet to catch the Bruno out. So there's just so many avenues of arsenal that Impunity Pixies had to take down Impunity Divas, and I think that's credit to their coach as well as the players. I spoke to their manager as well, two different coaches, and you know, congrats to the one that won. That being said, we will have 2 more matches tomorrow. Unfortunately, this is the end of today's stream. We have no more matches for you, but tomorrow we will be streaming one of the semi-final matches, which I'm sure is actually between Nirvana as well as Reborn against Tale of Vendetta, and then, you know, we will see who goes into the finals, and that's the one that we'll be streaming. So once again, just to remind you guys about the prize pool, in 4th and 3rd place, the teams will get 1,000 diamonds each. In 2nd place, the team will walk away with 2,000 diamonds, and then in 1st place, which is the grand prize, the team will walk away with 4,000 diamonds. So this is what the teams are fighting for. Once again, if you're interested to find out more about FSL and when the circuit will begin, we will give you guys an update as soon as it's possible. Hopefully you guys are staying home and staying safe. Big shout out to our sponsors, to Dreamcore Superstar as well as Yahoo, and obviously FSL for organizing and, you know, being our official partners. My name is Aries. I had fun casting all the matches for today, but big shout out to all the admins and you guys for sticking with me throughout all the difficulties. I love you guys. I love Myanmar so much, and I will see you guys tomorrow.